This is Matt Rogers at EBizCharge, busting more myths on credit card processing. Let's do it. Credit card processors definitely do charge hidden fees. The credit card processing industry from a cost standpoint is relatively not regulated. So unfortunately, there are some bad eggs out there that do that, that do hide fees into your statement, that add on extra costs and they make them sound like they are legitimate by using words like card brand or services or compliance or things like that. So it really is difficult to know whether or not those charges you have are real, which is why it's always a good idea to educate yourself on the necessities and be able to determine that, or get yourself a reputable credit card processor. I would say, again, it really depends on what you are setting up. In the retail space, terminals, slang and bang, really easy. Get the terminal, get it shipped out, it's usually ready to go, plug it in, plug and play. I would say in the software world, it is more complicated because the systems are more complicated and there's more touch points. It really depends on what your definition of slow is, but most systems from a payment processing standpoint get set up within a few hours. So I would say it's not too bad. Chargebacks are scary. That definitely is not a myth. The scariest thing, especially for merchants in the card not present space, is that you're almost never certain that a transaction could not result in a chargeback. Ultimately, the cardholder has the power to say it wasn't them, and in the card not present space, it's sometimes very hard to prove that. So chargebacks are expensive, they're scary, they're time consuming. That's why having things like chargeback assistance and chargeback teams in place to help you through those unfortunate times are very important and very helpful and absolutely worth having. So I think it depends on what space you're talking about. If we're generally talking about the retail space, I would say that the credit card processing hardware is expensive. Terminals are several $100s, point of sale systems are several $1,000s, and they can be expensive. I think in the card not present world, there are a lot of very inexpensive solutions that are out there that don't require hardware at all, more of a software side of things, and those can be a lot less expensive than at least the hardware itself. It does nothing. That is a myth. The CVV code has no influence on the actual cost of the transaction. It's just really there to help protect you in the case of fraud and kind of give you that extra cozy feeling when you get a match. All right, thank you so much for joining us today on Busted Myths. This is Matt Rogers with EBizCharge. Check us out at EBizCharge.com.